Welcome to the Good Intention Show, coming to you live on the UI Radio Network. The Good Intention Show is sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation at unitedintentions.org, a virtual community where you learn to create, track, and manifest your passions one intention at a time. Look for us on Blog Talk, Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, Player FM, and many more. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram under United Intentions and on Twitter at Higher Intention. Yes, this is the Good Intention Show, where you will meet people who live life intentionally and hear about things they're not telling you in the mainstream media. And now, here's the truth seeker, the snake charmer, a legend in his own mind, broadcasting live all over the universe, your host, Mr. Tim Ray.
Wow, here we are with Susan McDowell.
Saddle again.
I know. You're going to enjoy this show today. I mean, I am, because Susan and I, when we get together, it usually seems a lot more often in the past. I don't know what's going on. Maybe the universe has us spreading our love in all different directions.
I tell you.
And healing. But you're going to love this show today. It's on healing. Healing not only ourselves, but healing others. And I had just an incredible experience, which I'm going to talk to you guys about, at the ARE, which is the Association of Research and Enlightenment, which is Edgar Cayce's group. We spent the whole weekend, pretty much, Suchi and Dawn Worthy, and myself, with the director, Kevin, and also a couple of main speakers, John and Dr. JP. And it was just an amazing, amazing period of time. I never really knew how intense and how organized and how chronicle everything's just organized to the point where it's like you're going into a master library. In fact, it's the largest library of information, second to the Vatican.
It's been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
It's like a spiritual complex.
Right.
You know,
it really is. And,
yeah.
They pay for their employees. They have almost 100-something employees. They pay for them to meditate on their break every half hour. Mm-hmm. And their meals, they serve meals there that are all perfectly, healthy. They're vegan. They got other type of meats. You get whatever you want, but it's all like non-GMO. It's no glyphosate in it. it's all well thought through and healthy.
High energy foods.
High vibrational food.
Yes.
So it's just incredibly organized. And then the massages, they give us massages, the Riley massage, which is one of Edgar Cayce's. And a lot of people, like seniors who are very fragile,
yes,
it's great massage for them because they're very conscientious about it. They also have one of the massages for pregnant women.
Yeah, I do pregnancy massage also. Yeah. Well, and did you learn about the castor oil packs?
Yes. Yeah, you get peanut oil, castor oil.
I used those when I was ill.
Really? Mm-hmm. What's with that?
It's the most soothing feeling. You get layers of flannel and soak it with castor oil, and then you put like saran wrap over it, and then you apply heat.
Wow.
And it opens your solar plexus. It just feels like this hug is going inside of your solar plexus. I'm not kidding. It was when I was really ill and I would do that. It was so soothing.
Wow. You talk about hugging, and what a nice lead-in to welcome to the UI Radio Network and getting your free hugs here. And also, hello, WDJY listeners, 99.1, as well as WWNN at 93.5 FM down in Florida. And wow, I love this type of information, because most people, what we do, and this is what saddens me, and again, if you guys want to call in too, call 678-495-4345 and get in conversation with Susan and I. And so this is what saddens me, is that we just not naturally, I should say artificially, from being raised this way, just give our power of healing over to others. You think of when you get sick, what do you first think of? Doctor. You don't default, well, I can heal myself.
Right.
Let me focus on healing myself.
The first thing most people today want to run to the doctor if anything is going on.
Immediately.
Bodies.
First thing, when we feel like we're out of control and I don't know what this bump's for. I don't know what this...
People have lost the power to trust their own natural ability to heal, and they've lost the confidence in that, because we've been taught you must go to a professional.
Right. Yes. Yes. Well, yeah, and see, that's what's sad about it, because we're taught that all the time. Now, trust me, the doctors play a role.
Oh,
here.
I'm happy. They definitely serve a good purpose, but it should be your last line of defense to go to. There's so many other things you can do first.
Yeah, we should default immediately to ourselves, and unless your name is Doug Miller, Dr. Doug Miller, and he'll be on my show on Thursday from the Intimacy Hour. You want to run to him first. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Don't forget that 11 a.m. Interviewing Dr. Doug Miller, and he has a lot to share, a lot of new stuff. You're not going to miss that at 11 on this Thursday. And last, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check it out. It's piling up. I think we're coming close to 7, 8, 9,000, 10,000 members. I don't know where we are right now.
Growing.
Watch all our favorite interviews and make sure you click that bell on top, because YouTube doesn't want to make it easy to get the messages out. So click that bell and stop looking at trending. All right, the trending is just ridiculous. Create your own YouTube channels of information that you want to be.
Follow your heart.
You want to be programmed by. All right, we're all being programmed by something.
And I say trust how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
If you feel horrible when you're listening to something, that's a sign that whatever you're listening to is not good for you, and it's different. And however you're looking at it is different than the way your higher self is looking at it. So either change the way you're looking at it, if that's in your power.
Change your perception.
Or change what you're looking at till you do feel good.
See, I would default on changing your perception initially, because we're going to be looking at ugly things in life, just the way it is.
Exactly.
So if we could learn, and so to avoid ugly things, it's be motivated by fear, and then you get caught into that denial-based positive thinking. So whatever's thrown in your way, I think default to perceived, change your perception. If you can't change your perception, then I think
that's what I'm saying. If you need to walk away or to look somewhere else just to get the good feeling going, then that'll raise your vibration. Then when you look back at the uncomfortable thing, you'll be able to see it differently, from a higher perspective. So that's always the best thing, and that is really the work that we're doing today, is learning how that it all comes from inside of us, and we have total control over the way we see or judge anything.
Wow, I love that. I love that fact, because, like I said, we give our power over. So today we're going to learn, Susan, you're saying, is how to take our power back. Mm-hmm. And this is what I find.
How to get out of our own way.
How to get out of our own way. And not only that, but I was like, Dr. J.P. Amante, he was showing us a video of this Chi master who was literally... Tai Chi, sorry. Chi.
I always love when you flip things. It's cute.
See, I'm cute. And so he was showing us how there's this one master who actually started. You could touch him, he would shock you. I can't remember his name. He's pretty well known.
There's several of them.
But he was so quiet about it that somebody filmed him, and he disappeared for a long time, and he came back. But he was able, through his energy, and I guess the chi energy, was able to start a piece of, like, newspaper started on fire with his energy, like a fire starter.
Yes.
And
in India, there are many people who can do that.
Right. But they had other people who would actually cure, like you had a tumor on a prostate, and you could actually see it shrink on the X-ray. So not only this power we're talking about, Susan, is that we have the power for ourselves. You're saying we have the power to actually use that energy to heal others too, and hence it's kind of the contradiction. We should be able to only heal ourselves, but also able to heal others.
Yes,
is the collective piece.
We can aid that raise somebody else's vibration to allow, and that always depends on the person too, what they can receive.
Right.
That's why even they say Jesus didn't heal every single person, because there's a certain openness in you that allows that to happen.
Right.
If you have a million negative thoughts and you believe, oh, my mother had this and her mother had this, and if you have those kind of strong feelings, you could be healed in the moment, but you'll get it right back if you keep those kinds of thoughts, those negative images in your own head that, oh, if somebody's sick, I always get it, and, I'm susceptible to this. Those kinds of thoughts will recreate recreate the illness in you. So a lot of the time when people...
So you could block the other energy, healing energies of other people.
Yes. Well, what you do is you just recreate your negative state.
So like you heal you and then just recreate it again.
Yes.
So you're saying there has to be a change in your perception.
Definitely.
Wow, the power of thought and feeling. I mean,
is everything.
My goodness, it's all about healing. It's about creating. It's about everything. And we get no directions from. We're born. We're like, hey, what do we do with these feelings and thoughts? You know, we get nothing.
Yeah, we're not. Well, we don't have people in our lives to teach us how to use all of this. Yeah. And
they're trying to figure it out themselves.
Exactly.
You know? It's like we have generation of lost souls, man.
But everybody's doing the best they can, and each generation we grow a little bit more.
Right.
But we are in a time where many, many people are looking this way. Many people are discovering it within themselves, wanting to enhance it and grow it and learn more. And that's what's so exciting about right now.
Yeah, I have to say, I agree with you. It is exciting. And I guess if we're given the directions out of the box being born,
that would have been helpful.
Well, yeah, would have been helpful, but I mean, maybe we wouldn't have learned. I mean, it would have been boring, or we wouldn't learn the lessons.
No, it's exactly, we're in the stage we're in because there's so much to learn in each stage. And we're like bridging the past into the future. We're becoming present, and we're bridging the old ways with the new ways right now. And you don't usually just jump into a whole new way. You get there step by step by step. And those of us who, most of us lost our way when we were, along the way, you quit listening to your inner guidance because you care more about what people outside of you think. Right. And so you start listening to their guidance instead of your own. Because when you were just being your fullest, best kid self, sometimes you get shot down. That's a little too much energy for a lot of people. And they want you to be nice and nobody's doing it on purpose, shutting you down. But this is what we learn, that to please others, to bring those smiles from our parents and our teachers and siblings, whatever, that we change who we are inside because we want to feel their love in any way we can. And we don't know we're doing it when we're little. We're just looking for the love response because we know that feels good and that feels the most like ourselves. Right. So we'll take it from anywhere if we're not getting it from within.
So I mean, how hard it is. I mean, you're just developing your frontal lobe as an infant. You're just developing just the basic brain cells to do basic functions. I mean, how really can we, really that responsibility falls in the parents or the guardians of that child to make sure that their feelings and emotions are being handled gently and healthy and honored and healthy in a healthy way. I mean, that's a big, so most people just trying to get food in the kid's mouth,
Yes.
Now I got to focus on the best way to get the feelings and thoughts processed.
Well, the trick is, children are born themselves, and the less you interfere with that, the stronger that self becomes. But like I was saying, it's really okay the way it's happened because those of us, when we leave that inner self, that strong connection with our soul, we go away from it. And for a time, depending on how far away from it you go, you'll feel lost, you'll feel confused, you'll have self-doubt, fear creeps in, because whenever you're not in that power center, you are supposed to feel uncomfortable, because we're supposed to want to get back to it. So those of us who are doing this have learned how to come back to it step by step by step to heal our own cells and to get our own cells back in that power. So it makes us better healers and teachers, having to have learned how to do that in ourselves. And if you just stayed there, you wouldn't appreciate or know the difference between not being there and then the beauty and wonder of reconnecting to that place.
You'd have nothing to compare to.
Yes. And there's something great about that feeling, and that also that empowerment of knowing I did this. I figured this out and I learned how to get back to me. And then once you learn how to, you never want to be apart from it again. And you learn how to do it quicker and quicker and quicker when you get disconnected from that inner self. And that is so empowering. And that's why it's easier to teach, because you've had to learn how to do it, how you get disconnected, how you get reconnected.
There's something to this prodigal son on the job training.
Yes.
There's to that, you know? So,
Yes.
So we're going to take a little break here, and when we get back, let's talk more about how we, how the healing process for ourselves, how that works, and how we start to incorporate that now, whether we're a kid, an adult, or a senior. And then let's get into, once we, I guess you really can't heal others until you learn to heal yourself.
Yeah, we're going to talk
right?
about that for a little while, because most people first want to know, how do I do me?
Yeah.
You know,
well, how can you help others if you're not doing
you? Can't. You really can't, you know.
Right. Well, there you go. You heard it from the mouth of the babe here, Susan McDowell. We'll be right back, guys. Check it out. You can check her out, Magic Touch. You call her at 770-807-2487 and get the Magic Touch. Learn how to heal yourself. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to be the hero of your own story? It's time to put the power of your health back into your hands. Join us for our free 25-day journey to get your life back now from chronic illness. Our doctors and experts will guide you back to optimal health.
And in fact, if you think about these diseases, if you had a gene for Alzheimer's disease or you had a gene for macular degeneration, these diseases typically don't show up until you're much older in life. How in the world did you make it through the first 60, 70 years with no problems? Because your body has taken care of things. And if you just do a little bit to take care of the healthier brain or the healthier eyes, your body will take care of things and do what it did for all that other part of your life. This is just a headline from a talk that was given by the head of neurology at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. And you may have a little time reading, but he's saying that by the time we're all 90, 90% of us, 85% of us are going to have Alzheimer's disease. And this is garbage, okay? This is the kind of stuff that doctors put out there, that we're all headed towards Alzheimer's disease, that somehow dementia is a consequence of aging, that everybody's going to lose their minds. And that's just, it's not true.
Go to www.getyourlifebacknow.live and begin your journey today.
All right, we are back with the Magic Touch. Susan McDowell. Isn't that you miss her, everybody? Come on. Don't you wish you were on here all the time?
I miss her.
Right? Come on.
I miss all you guys. I do. After a certain amount of time goes by, I start going, I got to get back in there.
She's Jones in it.
With my people.
So, Susan, people reach you also on Facebook too, right?
Yes, the Magic Touch Facebook page.
Okay.
It's my business page. Most all my radio shows are on there, and some articles that I've written, and just different things that are very positive,
right,
and informative,
and wisdom at its finest. I learned so much. That's right. I don't read books anymore because I just have interviews, and this is my interactive learning process. It's like an interactive audio book.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Doesn't it? Imagine having audiobooks that are interactive, like you could be reading it, thinking it, and then you could ask the author whatever you want.
A question.
Well, start your own UI radio network, and that's what you could be doing from this point on. So, like I could ask the author anything I want to know about what's going on and anything. And think about that. That's a pretty phenomenal opportunity.
It is.
It's like a new way of learning. It's like, I'm like, I don't read. I'm like, Tim, how can I read anymore? Because I'm learning every day.
What's his name that did Annie Hall?
Oh.
The director.
Yeah,
you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He, in one of his movies, he did that. They were standing, I think it might have been Annie Hall, they were standing in line at the movie theater, and they were talking opinions back and forth, and he goes, well, let me ask him.
Yeah, he's right
and then
here.
they had the author right there.
Whoa,
and yeah.
That's funny. So we're talking... Woody Allen.
Oh my God, I'm so glad I got that.
Let me ask him. He's right here. So we're talking to Susan McDowell about healing. We're going to focus on healing ourselves first, and of course it starts with our thoughts and feelings. And one of the things that I've learned over the last year or two with integrative medicine and the holistic approach is that all ailments are created first through thought, and then an emotion and lack of or suppression of emotion and feeling of thought. And literally this energy, because all thoughts are energy and feelings are energy, these energies get pocketed in tissues of our body.
Yes.
Based on the type of thought, the type of feeling, whatever.
Exactly.
Well, guilt, maybe go to the breasts, right? Different types of problems.
Yes.
This energy gets stored, and we have these meridians that are going through our body and chakras and all that jazz. And we get clogged up, let's say.
Yes, exactly. If it doesn't come out, it goes in.
It goes in, right?
Yes.
So you got to get it out, right? You want that bullet wound through the flesh and out. You don't want it stuck inside you. So if that's the basics of this, then we need to focus on healing all on our thoughts and feelings, don't we?
Well, that's the beginning of everything. And the truth is, if we could just stay out of our own way, which getting in our own way are the negative thoughts and the negative feelings. And the feelings come in response to the thoughts we're having. So if we're feeling bad, look at what we've been thinking about. And if you change that, the feeling will change. But the body has shown us over and over and over that it knows how to heal itself. And we get in the way of that.
We get in the way, yeah.
You cut yourself, you just sit there and watch it for a day, and it just starts repairing itself.
Right.
Because we don't doubt that a cut will heal itself, you see? So we're not in the way of that. We just assume that's going to be fine. Well, this is the same way. Big ticket items like cancer and heart problems and brain,
Alzheimer's,
all that kind of stuff is that we have allowed ourselves to come out of balance for too long. So the out of balance gets worse and worse and worse. It's like a swimming pool that has some kind of bacteria in it, and if you just keep letting it go, it's just going to cover the whole thing and fill the whole thing, and you won't be able to go in there without getting sick. And our bodies are very similar, that if we keep these negative thoughts and feelings going, it may start with a headache. That's when, and all illness of every kind is some form of resistance in our thoughts. So when you're resisting your life and it's not feeling good and you're not liking it, a little bit of that turns into a headache. And you're tightening your jaw because those thoughts you're having just don't feel good. So your whole body tenses when you're not liking what you're thinking, right?
Right.
So that creates tension in the body. So at first it might just be a headache.
It's like a disagreement with yourself.
Yes. So if you addressed it at that state, you could get rid of that headache. You could unclog that resistance. You could look at the thoughts and realize they're not working for me. What thought would be a better thought than that? How can I look at this and feel better? If you don't address it at all, it may turn into a cold.
You see, thoughts and feelings literally block our energy
from
flows.
flowing.
So they're literally blocks in our way. Our thoughts are blocks physically, literally in our way.
Yes. And what happens is tension starts to gather in certain areas of our body.
Like pains in the back, pains in the neck,
according to what
headaches.
we're thinking, just like what you were saying, that stress, that tension goes to particular areas of the body. So when I'm dealing with someone, I use their body to get clues about where the source of this problem is. So your thoughts are what direct that tension to certain areas. When you're feeling fear, you tighten your jaw, you tighten your wrists, your shoulders come up and they get tight, So those are indications of certain things. If a woman, say, is having thoughts about her womanhood or fear of getting pregnant or fear of intimacy with a man, these kinds of things will go to the female organs. The same with the man. If he's
prostate
if he's insecure about his manhood, or if he can't talk about those things with someone and get it out, it will go into those areas. And your relationship, you can look at you have the 7 chakras or energy centers that go up the back of your spine from your tailbone to the top of your head. If those energy centers tell you so much about what's happening in that. Why is it going to that area? So your solar plexus, that surrounds your navel area, this controls your relationship with yourself, and it's the processing center for all the negativity from the lower 3 chakras. So this is why people get stomach aches and ulcers and things like that. When this isn't flowing freely, when your relationship with yourself isn't open and flowing, or if you don't feel good about yourself, if you have a lot of trouble loving yourself, that can manifest. It can give you a stomach ache or just that, that tense feeling in your stomach. It can also come into your heart center, in the center of your chest, because that has everything to do with love and lack of love. Any area where you perceive a lack of love, it will hurt behind your shoulder. When it's from the past, it'll hurt right behind your shoulder blades in the middle, because that's your heart center in the back.
It's like we had to always be in our parasympathetic nervous process system, rather, because most of us are in sympathetic. We're fight or flight. We're watching the news. We're worried about this. We're worried about that. And eventually, cumulatively, that builds up. Those thoughts build up like a little energy dose here is not a big deal. But compounded every day, saying the same thought, looping thought every day, builds up, builds up, builds up. Then it becomes... Then it's energetic, and then it actually manifests into the physical.
If we don't recognize it on the mental and then emotional level, it must become physical. That's the densest of all the energies. And that's really a good thing, because it's the way the universe is trying to show us and give us a chance to see this. Once it's in your body, and if it hurts, it's so much harder to ignore.
It's a wake-up call.
It's harder to ignore. Yeah. So then you look at it, and the first thing people just give me a pill, do something, get rid of this.
I don't want to deal with the problem. Just let me distract me.
Yeah,
right?
But we all are finding that is not working so well anymore.
Right.
And when someone gets, say they get a certain illness, and then they go to the doctor and they take enough antibiotics or whatever, and that goes away. When people who say, I just keep getting something else, then it comes back in a different form. If you haven't dealt with the root cause, you'll just keep getting different things in different areas of your body. As you clear that energy with whatever, medicine might just shove it out of there, but it's going to go somewhere else if you haven't dealt with this.
Right.
And that tension, I was talking about, as you have the thought, creates tension. The more you have the thought, the more tension is going to that spot. So a little bit of tension there, you don't even notice for a while. But then more and more and more, then you have, that could literally clog your arteries.
Literally, yeah.
Yes.
It's amazing, because we blame it on the sugar, we blame it on all these other things, and I'm sure that that energy source attracts that.
Yes.
Attracts that.
It's almost like the more out of balance you go, you are attracted to things that are out of balance.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you have huge sugar cravings,
right.
There's something in you that energetically, and people get it backwards. They think it's a physical.
Well, they'll blame it on the parasites or the bacteria that's feeding off on it, but it's being created by the energy first.
Yes, and then of course you have to deal with all the manifestations of imbalance.
Now you got a problem on your hands.
Yeah, that's when we address diet and different things like that. But when you're in, and that's fine, hit it from every which way. But if you don't go to the source of it, like I said, no diet in the world is going to fix it. Right. And a lot of people who say, I've tried everything.
I know. Or their cancer's in recession, then it comes back again.
Yes.
That's a great example.
That's a perfect example.
Of not dealing with the whole core root issue of why you created that in the first place.
Exactly.
But first of all, people have to first take complete. This is the challenge. Isn't it?
That's the first step.
Well, because they got to take complete responsibility that they created it, right?
If you don't believe that you really created all, then you won't have the power to fix,
to heal it.
Yes.
Yeah. So the first step is to realize that. Now that brings into when we get back from break here in a second, but that brings us into the next question: is not all is created just through ourselves healing. And well, of course, we may create or co-create our own reality, but there's a collective variable involved here, because if we're able to raise the vibration of somebody else, that means I can affect their energy level. Okay? And if I can affect their energy level, then I can affect things about them. And if I can affect outside of myself, then then perhaps not everything is created by myself. Maybe I'm also
there
subjected
is co-creation.
I'm also subjected to the co-creation of the collective. The collective may believe.
But the only things that will come.
Hold that thought.
We'll get that when we come back.
Yes, because we got to tease everybody. All right, you can't.
It's going to be good.
You can't give them all the information all at one time. You got to wait for it.
We'll be back with the magic answer.
Check out our sponsor. Support our sponsors. They support us. Check it out. We'll be right back.
Well, hello, everyone. I am Gloria Parker, the Psychic Bartender. I use that title honestly because I was the first female bartender in Atlanta back in the 60s, and I stayed in that profession for over 33 years. Numerology is the foundation of the universe, and everything is embedded in numbers. So call me any Thursday from 4 to 5 p.m. Just call in at 678-495-4345. Listeners, of course, are always welcome by tuning into United Intentions, WDJY 99.1 FM. So what a really great way to get some first-hand information from your psychic bartender and learn something new about you on your drive home from work, or just call in from anywhere. So you can reach me and you can listen to me on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and many other stations. Or you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as United Intentions, or on Twitter as Higher Intention.
Yeah. Of course, we're going to get some sexual healing, too.
I want to talk like one of those real sexy FM DJs with that music.
Right back at you.
Hello, everybody.
All right. We're here with Susan McDowell from The Magic Touch. You can reach her at 770-807-2487 or check her on Facebook.
No, you just gave my personal phone number.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Hello, everybody.
770. Give us your number there.
770-841-0698.
There you go.
That is my friend Patty, who has been my answering service for over 25 years.
Fantastic. Yeah, because they have that one. They have wrote that on your answering service too. He has to fix that.
Don't call me.
All right. Now you know. Now you know all the secrets of Susan McDowell. All right. So we talked about the collective influence on affecting people's health too. And we'll talk more about the individual health. And I think we got a good picture now, Susan, about how our thoughts and feelings, literally, if not dealt with, will manifest into physical ailments eventually.
Yes.
So now, the collective has to have a role. If we co-create our reality and co-create our issues or problems and the great things and the bad things, the good, the bad, and the ugly, then there has to be some responsibility with the collective. Like there are certain countries that have a collective consciousness that create a certain belief system, which belief systems create physical manifestations.
True.
So it's confusing. It's confusing in some way, but there has to be some, I don't know, percentage-wise, how much we're creating and how much the collective is creating. I'd assume the collective has a higher creation percentage.
Well, I want to address one thing you said first, and then that. When you said our ability to direct that energy to others and help and heal others and stuff, that's absolutely true. But what is the other's responsibility is to keep that going. Like we said before, they could be healed in the moment, but go back to where they were if they don't change their perspective or what it was that created that in the first place. So it's up to each of us to keep that goodness going if we want to stay well. So now we'll go to collectively.
Yeah, okay.
The whole thing is law of attraction. Everything that comes into our lives is a match to who we are vibrationally. So you're right. Culturally, certain things are more present in a culture. So that still, you can grow up in a culture and go in a completely different way, but that culture, certain cultures foster things more than other cultures. Like in India, it's taught from a young age, this spiritual thing, and that it's very common for people in India to believe in miracles, to believe they see before them people who can do these amazing feats. But what people also don't understand is there's levels of these gifts, that there are certain people who they want the showy gifts, like I can lock myself in a box and only take one breath in 24 hours. Well, I mean, that's super cool for sure. But some people don't go into full enlightenment, to that total connection with their soul, and it's always the ego that wants to show, look what I can do, look what I can do. And there are plenty of people who do that, and that's like a lesser vibration. It's a lower vibration.
More density to it.
Yes, it is. But some of the enlightened masters don't do any of those things and didn't ever do any of those things. So I like to address that because people have a list of what they think an enlightened master should be. And the truth is, I love the saying, an enlightened being looks very much like himself, because it would manifest individually for each person. We're all individuals, and when that light flows through each one of us, it should look somewhat different than the other.
Very uniquely.
But why we think that is because we attribute a lot of these qualities to masters from India and Japan and things like that. And in that culture, they show certain things. We don't get all emotional. We speak softly. We're always looking toward peaceful enlightenment kind of things. So people in America a lot of the time think that's what, and they wear robes, always wear robes.
Yeah, sandals and robes.
Yes. So we've attributed a lot of these traits to enlightened beings, which are actually cultural traits. And only your heart will really tell you. And the truth is, if you're not enlightened, you can't recognize. You can feel something, they can make you feel good, but only, one that is that would know what that is in another fully.
Right.
Yeah.
No, see, that's a great, you could distinguish that, with people and things like that. So when you have these chi masters who are creating fire, who are using energy, Reiki, let's say. Mm-hmm. So they're able to affect our energetic fields, which is, like I said, and even sometimes these tissue, these thoughts or feelings that have developed into your tissues that have developed into a physical manifestation of some type of problem, whether it's cancer or diabetes, whatever it could be, and they can actually affect that energy flow for a little bit.
Yes.
But if since you create your own reality, it's not going to change forever.
Right. Unless you change the thing that's generating that in the first place.
So a lot of these masters, what they're doing is and that's why the placebo effect's so big, is what they're doing is they're giving you an opportunity, a shocker, or opportunity to change your belief system about this certain specific intention or thought.
Just moments. If you just have a day.
Like people walk. Like people haven't walked before and they could walk.
Yes.
Those type of moments. Big ones, right?
Exactly. And when you feel that clearness and that connection for just a little while, it is showing you the possibility. And I had a guy that I did a healing session on in the Virgin Islands, and he was a Rastafarian guy.
Rastafarian,
very spiritual man. I loved him. And afterward, it was his very first time ever doing that. And afterward, he was like, so this is the desired state. And he said, now how do I keep it? But he recognized that. He felt so connected to God after that session, and his energy was all lifted up, and there was no troubles apparent or visible anywhere inside of him in those moments. And and it depends. How long you can keep it going is how long you can stay out of your own way, and the first intrusion is the negative thought. Even saying, oh, I won't be able to keep this going,
right?
That kind of thing. But what you want to do is get a glimpse of that and then I will do anything to keep this going. I want to learn every single thing I can to stay connected to this state. And that is a propelling force from within, that once you feel it, you don't want to feel otherwise. You don't want to be without that connection.
Right, and that's the grace of God. Isn't all the grace of God and this grace of energy? We're flowing everywhere, in and out. And isn't that we're just like, even these gurus who are collectively creating it or playing, they're learning how to play with the energy, this energy of God.
Yes.
And they may be more woken up to the power of this energy of God, right? And they're basically using it to wake you up so you can then perpetually learn to play with this energy of God.
Absolutely.
And then heal yourself and heal others. So it's almost like there's a toy out, not toy, but there's this energy that we're all just kind of learning about.
Yes.
Some are a little more advanced than others, more enlightened than others, and they use it to heal or wake other people up.
And the truth is, when you are in this state yourself, you are emanating it every second, no matter what. Wherever you go, you're putting it into the world. It's permeating every person that you are near. And anybody who's the least bit receptive will feel it. And they don't know why. They don't know what's happening. But they just, for some reason, I just feel better around that person. You know? You know,
it's fascinating because what you're talking about, like a lot of people will label it different things. Some people call it the living Christ energy frequency. Some people call it, the Buddha energy, the Buddha nature. Some people call it whatever. If it's
Jesus,
all chi, they call it chi.
Yes.
You know,
chi is another word for energy.
Okay, but could it be different frequencies, different energy, or could it be the same energy you're all describing? I don't know. I mean, that's the $1 million question, right?
Well, I think it's different people looking at that same energy
from a different perspective.
Yes, and naming it according to where they come from. And
so we'll just say source energy for right now.
Source is that's a nice general word.
If this source energy is the same energy and hasn't changed any, it's being labeled and perceived differently from each individual. Let's assume that, because I'm not going to say I know for sure, because I really don't know anything, honestly. I may sound like I do, but I really don't.
That is wisdom. I know nothing.
Well, but I think I'm stupid, though. You know, I mean, I think it's because
I think it
goes beyond that. I'm just kidding. But, the old quote, when I was 20, I thought I could change the world. When I was 30, I thought I could rule the world. Now at 40, I wish I knew what the world was going on.
Like, what the hell? What happened?
I know, right? So say it's this source energy, this general source energy, and we're learning to play with it and utilize it and within and out. So if that's the goal, is it more so just waking up consciously to this? Is it really what we're supposed to be doing, or,
Yes.
Give us some direction here, Susan.
Yes. Well, the first thing I tell everybody is breathe. That's where you start. The breath, the prana, the magic elixir, the life force, the source energy comes through your breath. So when you pay attention to your breath, and, it's going on all day, but we're not paying attention to it. If you take 2 minutes and just focus on it, feel it coming in, feel it going out, just a minute of doing that, it brings you right into the present moment. So right there, you gain some clarity, because normally if you're feeling uncomfortable in any way at all, your thoughts are running and all that, you're either thinking about the future, fearing the future, or feeling bad about something in the past. And it's fine to think about the future and the past if it makes you feel good. You can relive those things when you're dreaming about something you're going to do, as long as you don't go into lack or doubt. Keep that going, because that's a good energy that you're getting going, and that does help you create your future. If you're thinking about the past and it feels good and it made you feel loved and joy or laughter, think about that. That's good for you. But if it takes you into any kind of negative, bring yourself into the present with your breath. And if you would do that every day, just that alone every day.
To stop that thought looping.
It would help. It would just throw a little monkey wrench into the negative patterns you have going.
And stop feeding that energy into those tissues of your body that's been going there every second of your thoughts when you're thought looping on that. You know?
And
I'm such a, like people think about when somebody felt like they failed their child and the child died.
That's like eating poison, thinking that.
And then every day you're saying, oh my God, I killed my child, but you really didn't. It's just it's just a belief system about that. how that's poisoning those parts of your body
It absolutely
every day.
is. And that's going right to your heart.
Yeah.
You know,
Right
and
to
your
the heart,
solar
yeah.
plexus. You
Your
know.
heart can only take so much. Come on. But I mean, think about
Yes.
it. People
And
live in that life every moment.
And
you
they're
know?
taking on a responsibility that is not their own. You cannot be responsible for somebody else's death, not without their
agreement.
Yes.
Now
there's
back to the
something-
Akashic Records and ARE and Edgar Casey. But no, go ahead. That was a great
the
thought.
soul itself chooses when it's going to go out, and if it's we know people that my father, we were told time and again he would not come out of this surgery. The chances were this big. Over and over he would come because it wasn't his time. But when it is your time, so we know people who are perfectly healthy, just running all around, and boom, they're gone. Heart attack, boom.
Yeah.
You know.
Or instantaneous, what they call that when you just burn up.
Oh, spontaneous combustion.
Yeah.
That's always cool.
Yeah, I know. Right? I think it's part of the CIA heart program, but hey, that's just my opinion.
So with the collective, that when we were talking about that, there are huge pockets of energy out there that consist of people who think alike. That's what the pockets are. All of us who think this way, we have this huge cloud of our energy that's out there and available. So when somebody else taps into that kind of thinking, they tap into the collective of all of that.
See, the collective
You
and the
see?
individual thoughts, the how it interacts, and we're getting a little better feel for it now. When we get back from break, let's talk about
But it's still our power, that
to
takes
affect
us
it in
into
there.
that.
Yeah, because I mean, it could slap us across the face, but it's not going to kill us. We'll do that. right?
Yes.
So so we'll do that to ourselves. So let's talk about some solutions. Let's talk about how we could navigate through this source that we're living in, and make the best of it while we're here.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Before we go see Edgar Casey. All right. See what he's up to these days. Talking to Susan McDowell, the Magic Touch. Call her office, not her home phone number. All right. We'll see you. We'll see you in a minute. Bye.
The number of premature infants born in the United States each year, 380,000. That's 9.8% of the total births in the U.S. The Foundation for Premature Infants' mission is to advocate for the right of all premature infants to be cared for in a developmentally supportive and age-appropriate manner. Our vision is to ensure that Premature Infants' Bill of Rights is the standard of care for all babies born prematurely, 24 hours per day, 365 days per year on all shifts in every neonatal intensive care unit throughout the world. Please consider making a donation by visiting us on Facebook, Foundation for Premature Infants, or at our website, foundationforprematureinfants.org.
Relax your mind. Just relax your mind, baby. Well, he always has the right thing. He always has the right thing to say through his music at the right time.
I heard that part. I just want to believe. Again, I feel, I believe.
I believe in Susan McDowell from the Magic Touch. How can they reach you?
770-841-0698. And that's for every level of healing, body work, counseling. If you want to learn yoga, meditation, all of those things we do through
Or
there.
just to shoot the breeze with her, you know? So, yeah, that's what I like to do. All right, so we left off on the collective influence with their energy, living in source, playing with source, the individual's ability to create source and from the beginning to the end, or play with source, I should
and
say.
that you attract nothing into your life that you are not a vibrational match to.
Like Einstein says, you want to experience a certain reality, you got to match the frequency of that reality you want to experience.
Yes,
Boom.
that's
it. Nothing more than that. Mic out, mic drop the mic.
And by vibrational match, I mean what you're feeling and thinking deep inside, not necessarily the words you're using,
The
but what
intention
the
behind it,
deep
yes.
feeling is inside is what the universe matches, and it will bring to you more things to make you feel more the way you're
It's like
already
a neutral
feeling.
source energy. It's like going to give you
Yes.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
But you got to know what you
It's
want.
like an egg. You can make it into all sorts of other things, you know, but by itself it doesn't taste that again.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The egg of thought, the thought of egg. The theory of it.
We start as an egg.
The theory of egg. So I love it. And so I think once we learn that there's this source energy in and out around us, it's neutral. We use it. I can't say it's neutral because I have to say has to be a certain loving, unconditional love to it, because like when I'm learning about scalar energy, I mean you could have a negative. You could use negativity to tap into scalar energy and use it for horrible things. But to truly get the full essence of scalar energy, the only way to reach that is through the love vibration. You can't fully experience the full power of scalar energy.
Yes.
And if scalar energy is God energy,
there's almost a fail-safe built into the system.
Yes.
That until you get the whole thing, you're only allowed to have so much of it.
Yes.
Because we don't want you blowing up the world.
And this is where all these magicians and these Satanists, they get so far and they realize, oh my God, it doesn't work at the end.
And that's what I'm talking about with the ego. The ego likes to show the tricks, you know, and you can develop yourself. Well, some people are clairvoyant, but they don't become enlightened because they're at a certain level. So that's what they see and read in other people is the level they're at, you see?
Right. Now, fascinating. So we want to tap into that fullness of that God source, all right?
Yes.
So what do we do on a daily basis here?
The breath.
To sleep? Because I just want to sleep and let it be,
Well, when we sleep, one of the reasons we need sleep is because every night at a certain level of sleep, we reconnect to our soul. And we need that. And at that point, everything is clear. I tell people sometimes, too, before you go to bed, first of all, if you want to get straight with your previous day, which is why I always meditate before I go to bed, I want my energy to be as high as possible before I go to sleep. Because, yes, you'll reconnect in your sleep, but what happens when you wake up is you have a few clear seconds when you first wake up where everything, even if you're sick, sometimes you'll wake up and you'll feel well for 4 seconds before the old thoughts click in. And whatever thoughts you were having before you went to sleep, those are the thoughts you click into in the morning when you first click into your thoughts. So if you change them before you go to bed, you wake up, you're saying this, you're telling yourself this during your days, convincing your brain this is how it works. Right. So you have these few clear seconds in the morning that give you all the power if you'll take it. So take that moment of clarity, breathe a little bit, and then say, today I'm creating a brand new day. And then you just imagine for a couple of minutes how a good day feels. Yeah. And you feel it. And you don't have to know all the details at all. But you do.
Just the feeling.
You need to know how you feel, how you want to feel. So you just imagine when you wake up feeling inspired, like, oh, I can't wait to get into my life today. I can't wait to run into these people who are just going to enhance my life and take it even higher. And it's going to be fulfilling out there. I don't know how. And it doesn't matter how, but I love that feeling of fulfillment and confidence, and there's going to be a lot of joy.
You're creating the frequency you want to experience.
Exactly. So you get that frequency going, then you let it go and go into your day and watch. It'll match. And initially, depending on how high your vibration is, most of the time, initially that might last, say, for an hour, then maybe the next day 2 hours, but you'll recognize when you're not keeping it going. It's like, oh my God, where'd that good feeling go? I want that again. So the more you do it, the more you can do it. And then you get to a point where you're over the 50% mark, and that's when it becomes easier and easier and easier. It's just like you're connected more often than you're disconnected. And then you won't stand for being disconnected. It's like, I will just do anything to get... So you meditate. Meditation is the main practice of connection. It's like the strongest, most powerful tool we have to keep that connection going. And your meditation doesn't have to be complicated at all. It can be just this breath, this paying attention to your breath, bringing yourself into the present moment. And you'll see the more you do it, the longer you can stay there. And the less, it's like I just take a couple of minutes before each client, a couple of minutes before I'm going somewhere to get into that state, and then imagine that state is going out there and it's going to meet me face to face everywhere I go with each person that I meet.
Yeah, and folks, that's called intentional living. That's how you intentionally live.
And it really works. You'd be amazing how it works. If you have
the power of intention, really.
Yeah, if you have an issue with anyone, you can clear it up without even talking to that person vibrationally. And you imagine that your heart and their heart open, and just this clear line of light between your hearts. You don't need to know what you're saying, but you're sending this out ahead of you, and you are affecting that person's energy. So you got to feel good first, and then you think of them, and then you're sending it to them. And then when you go and you have that meeting, that person, for some reason, is much more pleasant today than they normally are.
See, so your energy, you follow your energy.
Absolutely.
And that's another thing about intentional living, isn't
it? Yes. That's why thought is first. Thought is instant. You can think about China right now and energetically be in China instantly, where the body takes a lot longer to get to China.
Yeah, just go dream about China and you'll be there. You know, you'll see things you never even thought existed in this world.
You can tap right into that energy and pick up a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because we all think our reality is only here in this three-dimensional world, and we're not giving credence to our thoughts in any situation, any phase, whether it's dream phase or it's, you're just kind of, when you're driving your car and like you're driving 4 hours, like, why? I've been driving 4 hours. You were somewhere.
Yes.
You were in another reality.
Yes.
You weren't in this reality, but you were somewhere, right?
Yes.
And it's credence. We don't give credence to, because all thought and feelings are reality.
Yes.
No matter where it is, it's being manifested.
Anything you think is real on some level, somewhere.
It's kind of heavy, isn't it, thinking about that?
But it's also very light.
Yeah.
And that is also a key clue. People who are really connected to the source and living that way are normally very lighthearted, joy-filled people. When somebody is talking to you and they just get super serious, and they're always telling you, we got to save the world, and it's being
repent.
Oh my God,
sinners.
And you've got to be serious because look what's going on.
I know.
That does not help anything. It may even be true, but truth doesn't. You have to choose between, do you want to feel good or do you want to just focus on what's true? And you can make
what you believe is true.
Exactly.
Well, because that truth on the surface looks very true, but on a deeper, more metaphysical, purposeful, Akashic record truth, it has nothing to do with the truth.
Exactly. And the truth is in each person according to how they look at it. And it's all true. Everything we think is true, but what truth do you want to manifest in your life?
Exactly.
And that's why the power of focus is yours.
So what we focus on expands.
And it doesn't matter if all hell is breaking loose over here. If I keep my vibration high and focus in what I want to see in the world, that's the only things that enter my personal space.
Yeah, just look at Kane in Kung Fu. I mean, people shooting him around. He sits down and does his Indian leg position, and then he just decides what he's going to do: kick butt or help someone.
Yeah, he gets very clear, and he knows exactly what to do then, and he never gets upset.
No. Now, maybe once in a while when he saw somebody, his feelings are involved. But
well, that's one point I do want to make. When you're like this, you do not deny your feelings either. You must always feel whatever feeling you feel. But the difference is you'll feel it for long enough to understand what you're feeling, and then you look at it, and then you go, okay, so this feels awful. What does this awful feeling make me want to feel instead? And then as fast as you can, after you have felt it, you can't get away without feeling it. So after you really feel it, take the hit, whatever it is, then you switch as quickly as possible over to what that thing made you know you now want instead of that.
Yeah, and I feel we're out of time again. So, I just hate this. And can we do another one on healing?
Yeah.
Let's do a healing series.
We could keep going.
Let's do a healing series. All right? That's what
because you can keep hitting this from every angle, and people really need it.
I agree. Well, you've been hearing it from the mouths of the babes over here. All right. Susan McDowell.
My new moniker.
I know. There you go. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. Remember, check out Dr. Doug Miller on my show, Intimacy Hour, 11 a.m. Thursday. We'll see you then. Take care, guys.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
You have been listening to The Good Intention Show on the UI Radio Network. The Good Intention Show is sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation at unitedintentions.org. Look for us on Blog Talk, Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, Player FM, and many more. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram under United Intentions and on Twitter at Higher Intention. Be sure to log on to unitedintentions.org, a virtual community where you learn to create, track, and manifest your passions, one intention at a time. Have a wonderful day, and until next time, live life with intent. The United Intentions Foundation and its associates take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests.